And in season 2, they set out to do that. But then time passes, and Eisner leaves, and Rich Frank leaves, and Jeffrey Katzenberg leaves, and Gary Kreisel leaves, and Bruce leaves. And suddenly all these people who had Greg's back on Gargoyles were gone. Hello, Gargoyle Nation, and welcome back. Welcome if you're new. As always, I'm your host, Desi C, and yeah, we're gonna go into how the Gargoyles universe was nearly the precursor for the Marvel universe. I'm not saying they're connected or like Marvel got the idea from, none of that. It's just essentially what Marvel is doing now, Gargoyles would have been doing back in the 90s. So anyway, to get started, Disney would hold these seminars every 6 months. And Greg Weisman happened to be in one of these seminars or meetings, pretty much. Why they were called seminars, he doesn't quite know, but he was in one of these, and he was in one of these with Eisner. And in this meeting, in this seminar, Eisner said he wanted to buy Marvel Comics. Yeah, and he was talked out of it. Who the heck? You gotta question these people. But yes, he was told by some of his strategic executives, we get why you want it, but it's not going to be what you want. Now, the Marvel Comics that existed then, it would have been a bargain, because at this point it was either in bankruptcy or on the verge of it, and it had sold the rights to all of its characters to big movies. Heck, Spider-Man had been sold multiple times. Fantastic Four had been sold twice. And, you know, they told him, you know, you get up there and you want to make a Spider-Man movie. And you wouldn't be able to, because Sony owns the rights to it. And they're fighting with 2 other companies who both think they have the rights to it. So, you know, it would just be a nightmare. And Michael obviously was, you know, frustrated with it, but he obviously took the advice and didn't buy Marvel at the time. For a steal. Okay, it was pennies on the dollar, practically. But he was frustrated. You know, at this point, again, like Warner Brothers had all the DC Comics characters. And he was saying, you know, that Disney needed something like that Disney was missing that in their repertoire. So Eisner literally turned to Greg and he said, could Gargoyles be the start of a Disney action universe? Like, oh my God. And Greg, he said, yeah, it definitely could. You know, he was saying that, you know, if you thought of Gargoyles as being, in essence, what the Fantastic Four was to the Marvel Universe back in the 60s, and how they built the rest of the universe out from there, we could do that. Oh, how history happens, how things... Anyway, and in season 2, they set out to do that. But then time passes. And Eisner leaves, and Rich Frank leaves, and Jeffrey Katzenberg leaves, and Gary Kreisel leaves, and Bruce leaves. And suddenly all these people who had Greg's back on Gargoyles were gone. You have to remember that Gargoyles at this point was pretty much... Greg and crew were pretty much allowed to do what they wanted, because those people, you know, they trusted what they were doing, what was being done, and they, you know, they loved Gargoyle so much, it was just, here you go. So all these people that had Greg's back were gone, and the whole plan to use Gargoyles to create this Disney action universe all went away. Just gone. rapidly. But yeah, there was that moment when they were specifically tasked to do that for Michael. And then, of course, the irony is years later, after Eisner had left, Disney bought Marvel, obviously for a lot more money. It cost them a fortune. And in my mind, I kind of see it as well, you didn't buy it when it was cheap, and you didn't give Gargoyles, that chance to build this action universe. So yes, you finally got Marvel, but you paid a pretty penny for it. Don't be mean to Gargoyles, I guess, is the oh my goodness. Moral of the story. There we go. Moral of the story. But yes. So we could have had a Disney action universe, and Gargoyles could have been the start of that. It could have been the center of it. And unfortunately, everyone that had Greg's back just, again, they have their reasons for leaving, or this or that or whatever, and we didn't get it. But you know what? At least we still get Gargoyles. We are a patient group. We know we're going to get good stuff when we do get it. Greg is still still championing for it. That is the wrong word. He's there trying to make it happen, and we will always be thankful to him for being one of the few creators who loves, their story, the universe that they created so much that they will keep pushing for it and keep giving us stories and keep coming to conventions and all that stuff. So thank you, Greg, again. You tried, you set out for it in season 2, and we're getting comics now. So it's can't be upset completely. Anyway, that is the end of this one. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell. I sound like a broken record at saying this at the end of every video, but I don't want you guys to miss out on info like this. Like, let's be honest, it's interesting stuff. At least to me it is. Sorry. My socials are listed down below. Make sure to check out the Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, I have added a little bit of an extra thing if you do sign up. So there's that. Go check it out. No spoilers. And yes, as always, be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another, be the good that you want to see in the world. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.